The research data and experiences from no-till cover crop producers are in. Soil health and water quality do go hand in hand. All one has to do is tune into social media, farm reports and journals, and even the general news to see that not only is water like gold, but farmers are also required to produce larger amounts of food than ever before. Nutrients matter when it comes to water quality. According to the 2003-2006 NRCS Conservation Effects Assessment Project data, conservation practices applied on cropland fields can decrease edge-of-field nitrogen losses over a 4-year period by 3.8 billion pounds per year and decrease phosphorus by 584 million pounds per year. Simply stated, healthy soils can reduce nutrient loading and sediment runoff. Dennis Anderson, he realizes this entirely. About 15 years ago, Dennis took over the family farm and added land of his own, but he has been helping out on the farm since he was very young. From the beginning, he had a desire to learn more about increasing yield and decreasing expenses by improving his soil health. Dennis found that the typical crop rotations were no longer working for him. Increasing herbicide and fungicide inputs were cutting into his bottom line. He saw a lot of farmers putting a lot of time and effort into growing something on one side of the road and then using herbicide on the other side of the road to kill it. At the same time, issues of excess nutrients along with sediment in the streams and rivers had become a focal point for the state. What Dennis learned has become part of advice he gives to new and old farmers alike. Never say never. The phrase, "that's the way we've always done it," is a bad phrase. If you can get the soil back to what it was when the prairies were here, farming is profitable. The ones that are having the most success did not grow up farming because they do not know how you are, quote unquote, supposed to farm. You cannot keep doing the same things over and over. It's a mindset. You just got to start. And you must get animals back into the fields. And all it takes to change your system is to take baby steps. It can be done by changing one thing at a time. Add a hot wire here, add a radish there. As Dennis started making changes on his farm, he was not only enthusiastic about farming and the improvements he was seeing with his soil health, but now, as he proudly stated, we're now those guys that are able to plant or harvest right after a big rain and not rut the field. We are seeing proof that it is no longer about how much rain we get, but it is about how much we can hold in the soil. We can never have enough residue. The Twin Lakes RAP stakeholder leadership team's eye was especially drawn to Dennis's use of cover crops, soil testing, and bringing livestock back into the rotation on his land. Most farmers can increase their soil organic matter in 3 to 10 years. For each 1% increase in soil organic matter helps soil hold about 27,000 gallons more water per acre, according to the NRCS USDA.gov. Not only is Dennis improving the health of his soil, but he is quick to educate those wanting to learn. In September of 2017, Dennis, along with the Morris County NRCS Morris County Conservation District and the Twin Lakes RAPS Project, hosted the Farmer to Farmer in the Field workshop covering the topic of cover crops. Dennis says that he has never planted the same mix twice. The field day started at his soybean field. Prior to planting soybeans, he had planted rye with the intent of planting the soybeans into the rye. However, he had run out of rye halfway through the field. The shortage soon lent itself to a great experiment. In the absence of the cereal rye cover, weed pressure was an issue to crop production. At the next tour stop, they visited a wheat field planted to summer cover crops for grazing. In the 240 acres was a mix of sun hemp cowpeas, Hutchinson soybeans, sweet 6 dry stalk, sweet leaf graze and bale, hybrid Sudan grass, sorghum, pearl millet, annual ryegrass, African cabbage, daikon radish, collards, buckwheat, black oil sunflower seed, Clemson spineless okra, and Lebanese squash. With the heifers grazing in the background, participants viewed a soil pit with healthy soil structure that was found at least 5 feet beneath the soil surface. Finally, the group toured a sunflower field that was mixed with short cover crops that had no fertilizer or pesticides applied. The cattle would later be allowed to graze the stubble in that field. It was evident from the field day that Dennis is enthusiastic about what he does. He is progressive, open-minded to learning new things, and is willing to think outside the box. Dennis is doing what he can to improve the health of our soil and to remove sediment and nutrients from our water supply. All that has been described is exactly why the Twin Lakes RAPS Stakeholder Leadership Team voted him Twin Lakes RAPS Water Quality Award winner of 2017. As Xenophon stated in Oceanomicus in 400 BC, to be a successful farmer, one must first know the nature of the soil. Thank you to Dennis for caring enough to know the nature of his soil. We think he is one successful farmer.